Oh, hey everybody. So you've asked, what is a travel day like? What is it like setting up Gracie, just taking her out? Well, we're gonna show you that today. We're going to Madison, Indiana for the River Fest. We're judging some barbecue and we're staying overnight there in a campground right on the river. We're gonna show you how we get her ready to go and then when we get there and how we set up.
All right, so come along with us and welcome to Living Phase 2.
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Nancy, and we're empty nesters striving to live life to the fullest.
And we're living that full life RVing on the highways and byways of this wonderful country of ours.
We sure are, friends. Well, come along with us. I'm going to start getting Gracie ready on the inside.
And I'm going to start getting it ready on the outside. So we're getting ready to have Gracie unhooked from shore power here at home where we keep her plugged in. We keep her plugged in for two reasons. One is to maintain the batteries and keep them up. But two, it's in the summer and it gets incredibly hot. So we actually keep the air conditioners on at about 84, 85 degrees, just so things don't get really crazy hot inside here and we keep some air moving. So before you disconnect shore power, you always want to make sure that those and any other large loads are off. Well, let's get her unplugged. Well, let's go ahead and get Gracie unhooked here from shore power. As you just saw, I do have all the major loads inside off and we're ready to disconnect. Always, 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 before you pull this plug, make sure you've turned the circuit breaker off, which we have. And now we can unplug it and get the cord rolled up. Okay, let's get her pulled in here. Okay. And this bay's ready to go. And before we take Gracie out on any trip like this, always check the oil in her. I learned the hard way, a good pair of gloves. You should wear them when you're opening and closing the hood. These latches can be a little pinchy. And right where it should be, hasn't moved a bit since the last trip. So I also check the fuel filters, the water evaporator, all the different fluids, the coolant. I always take a quick look around here. Also just always take a quick look at each of the suspension components, just make sure nothing kicked up in there and hurt anything. Well, that's it. Let's shut her up. Already on that side. Well, and one of also the final things I do is I lock all of the bays all the way around. Really, it is for security, but it's also to just make sure, it's one other thing to make sure none of these bays could ever come open while we're driving. So go around and get these all locked up. Okay, all set.
Well, hi friends, we're inside of Gracie, our Dynamax RV. Gracie's what we have named her here. And we've got a few things we need to do to get her ready to go. So Mike's so good about taking care of all the outside items, but my responsibility is the inside. I have brought in the clothes, the paper goods that we need, like toilet paper and paper towels, things like that. I have loaded up the refrigerator. I make a menu plan every time. So our refrigerator and our pantry are stocked and good to go. What I need to do in here now is just to make sure she is ready to take off. And so to do that, I need to make sure that everything is battened down and secured. For instance, I've got to make sure the TVs are locked closed. We have tension rods for places that I make sure are in place, and those tension rods keep things from falling out. I also make sure all of our windows are open so we can see out. So, okay, what I'm gonna do back here is I'm gonna open that back window. We've got a rear camera there. I'm gonna make sure that's plugged in so we can see out the back, or we get a recording of anything that might happen to us on the back side of Gracie. And I've got my tension rod here. So pull that down and into place. Make sure this TV is locked, closed. There. Well, friends, just so you know, the slides are in right now because we're at home. It makes it a little more difficult to do. I got to crawl on the bed. But once we get to the campsite and we push the slides out, then everything's very easy to reach.
Okay, time to get going and get Gracie fired up. Well, up here in the cab, a couple things I do before we get her started. I turn on the tire pressure monitoring system, so that way it can start syncing to all the sensors. And I plug in our dash cam. This records forward and back in the front. So that way we have full recording all around Gracie as we're driving around. When you drive an RV, you really want to get one of these. You just never really know what you're going to run into. And then the final thing that I do is I plug in the brake monitoring system, and this is for the air brakes control that goes out to the truck, which you're going to see us hook up the truck in just a minute. That's this device. So this lets me know if the brakes lock up on the truck, and that means there's something wrong and we need to stop right away. This gives me a warning. So she's getting all synced up and ready to go here. We're just about ready to fire her up and get her on the street and hook the truck up. With a diesel, you always want to make sure that the igniters are all good. So you have to make sure that they're warmed up. And so you basically turn the key on and you let everything equalize here. Okay. And once it is, then you can start it. There we go. Now at this point, I do have a brake air pressure supply low warning. And the reason I have that is Gracie's been sitting a while, so all the brakes have gone out. I am checking the dump. It is not dumped. So what's going to happen now is the air pumps are going to kick in and they're going to pump everything back up. And then once we do that, we can pull her out and get the truck hooked up. While it's warming up, I can go ahead and also get our destination put in so that it's already there and ready to go. Okay, we've got that all in. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll Gracie forward, and we keep her up on some blocks.
Please drive to highlight you.
I'll do that when I'm ready. We keep her up on some blocks in the front just to keep it 100% level, since there's a slope to our driveway here for runoff. And that way, when we move the slides in and out, we always know that Gracie's level. So I'm going to go ahead and roll her off that, stop, and then move those ramps out of the way. Okay, I'm going to hop out and get those ramps out of the way. Okay, blocks are out of the way, time to get her out. The parking spot's a little tight that we have for Gracie, so it takes a little bit of moving. We're gonna go ahead and I'm going to call Nancy. And we have both walkie-talkies, and then sometimes we use our phones too. If we're right here at home, we have decent service, so we'll just do that.
Hello, do you hear me?
I do. Can you hear me?
I do.
Okay. So she's going to guide me and she is going to watch the passenger side, and I'm going to do the driver's side as we pull out. And I can see down that side pretty good. We're really close to our garage, so we park right beside it. So here we go. So you might notice as I'm driving a truck like this with air brakes is much different than driving your normal car. So you don't have, there's no park in something like this. It's, you have reverse, neutral, and drive, and then your air brake itself is kind of what you can think of as your parking brake. All right, so we're gonna pull it up here into the street. Okay, now I've got it lined up here parallel with the yard. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna hop back outside and we're gonna go hook up the truck. Okay, all right. All right, those are all the parts to hook up Gracie with air brakes. Let's go, or sorry, the little blue here, or as my grandkids like to say, blue truck. Okay, that one is locked, okay. Drop the pin in and locked, okay. All right, I'm going to take the covers off of the air connections here and here and put those back in the bag so I don't lose them, okay. Then I'm going to hook up that there, and I'm going to hook up the emergency brake release here. The breakaway release, there's that. Next, hook up the second connector. Okay, then we're going to hook up the 7-pin right here. Okay, that's done. All right, we're going to hook up the air hose right there. Okay, and now the most controversial thing you'll ever hear related to towing: cross your cables or not. I do, simply to put a little more tension into them. There's a lot of talk about how it'll catch the piece. I mean, honestly, it's probably just growing up with being taught this way, but it also does pull them up off the ground a little bit more so they don't drag. So that's actually the main reason I do it, but I do cross mine. And then I hook this the emergency breakaway independently. And there, that's all set up. And that's all it takes for us to hook up Little Blue here to tow. Now we are going to do a pull check, and we're going to do a light check, and we'll be doing that after we get her ready. Okay? Hey Nance, great job pulling up. It was actually perfectly aligned. Okay, so since this is a GMC Canyon, and they're not specifically set up to tow, kind of like a Jeep where you have a natural neutral. The reason that there is an issue with these is they have an electronic brake system, and that electronic brake system wants to engage if it detects that the car is rolling, and so we have to override that. We're going to show you how we do that. So Nancy, you remember from our checklist, you put it in neutral?
Neutral
okay.
It is.
All right, and then remember the too high 5 times. So you push this button 5 times.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And then you will see right here, it went into neutral.
It did.
Okay, so it's in neutral. So now at this point we need to turn it off. Okay, now we're set.
Shift to park.
Yep. Now we're in park. And now the last thing, lock the doors, second to last thing. And now the important part, we disconnect the battery, and I have a battery disconnect right here. There it goes. That will prevent the electronic brakes from locking up while we're rolling. Okay.
Okay.
And we shut the door and check the locks.
Okay.
Okay, we're all set.
All right.
Let's do the pull test. Okay, truck's hooked up, ready to do a pull test and a light test. Get Gracie started back up. Let me call Nancy on the cell phone.
Okay, do you hear me? Do you hear me?
Yep, I got you.
Okay.
Okay. All right, ready for the brake test
Yep,
and light
yep.
test? Brakes.
Brakes work. Looks good. Left. Right.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, looks good. Hang on, let's try to do the pull test.
Okay. What we're doing with the pull test is we want to make sure, like I mentioned, that electronic braking system, we want to make sure that the truck doesn't suddenly think it needs to apply the brakes. So we always do a pull test. Okay. All right, I'm pulling forward. Here we go.
Okay.
Okay, and we're going.
Okay, left
Oh,
is in.
I felt one.
Left is in, not the right yet. The right still. Nope.
Okay, the right side you said?
The right side is not engaged yet, but the left is.
Okay, let me pull to the right and then I can curve.
There, it just went down.
Okay,
You're
there we
good.
go.
You're good.
So now, and Gracie's rolling with no problems with the tires, so
No issues. Yeah,
Yep.
no issues. Doing good.
So what happens, folks, is that these tires, we did it one time that we didn't disengage the battery, and the you know right away, it only takes about 1 or 2 revolutions of the tires and they lock up. So we are set at this point. Nancy's going to do her always one last thing before she gets in, and then we're going to be on our way to Indiana. So as mentioned, I've checked all our tires here, and you can see that they're all at 96. And I can actually touch each tire and take a look at it. And then I can also now see the tires on the truck, which are all at this point at 33 PSI, which is what's recommended for it. And we're all set to go there. Okay. All right, we got everything plugged in, and we're all set to go here. You double checked everything in the house.
Yep.
Good to go?
All looks good.
Okay. Get the
How
seat
do I put
adjusted
my seat
here.
down?
This button right here.
Which one? Which one are you
The
pushing?
middle one right here.
Okay.
Sorry, I raised it up there
all right.
earlier when I was
I don't
sitting in it. Okay. All right, we ready?
Yep.
Let's go to Indiana. And we're off. So everything always settles a little on your first few little turns and bumps. And so that's what we always look at coming down our street. We hit a couple little bumps and see if
Everything looks good.
yeah. Love having you as my co-pilot.
Now my sight's clear. Yeah, everything looks good back there.
In 2 miles, turn left on Cherry Valley Avenue Southeast.
So we've had people ask, how noisy is Gracie? Now certainly, being a Super C like this built on a truck frame, it's not as quiet as a custom-built Class A, you know, that they do all this custom insulation and everything. Dynamax does get the highest level cat quieting features they can get from Freightliner, and they also add extra insulation themselves. But in the end, you know, it still is a truck on the front. But we're recording this without microphones, so you can kind of get an idea of the ambient noise. We're going about 60 miles an hour right now. Where I've noticed the sound really increases is when you get over 65. Normally we don't drive faster than that. We pretty much on the interstate set the cruise control at 65. But this gives you an idea at 55 to 60 miles an hour how loud the cab is.
Right on Division Street.
And that's our site right there. Just looking for the best way to do this to pull in the hood. Okay, mic clear? All right. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna just pull right here off to the side so people can get by. We'll get the truck out of the way.
Okay, so the parking brake is set. So I'm gonna unhook the air hoses here. Get that unhooked. Here. Okay, watch that golf cart.
Yep.
Okay, is my front end still okay? Can I
Your
swing
front
it?
end's fine. Your front end is fine. Don't worry about the front. I can't tell about the back end, but your front end is fine. Keep
The
backing
front,
up
the
a
back I can see. So
Okay.
I'm good now. So I can go, I can
Okay.
get us in the site.
little. You see this big truck rock here?
Okay, thank you. Yep,
Okay.
there we go. That's why we use walkie-talkies.
Yes.
Okay. I want our tires to be right on the pad.
Okay.
Here, hold on. I'm gonna get the leveling thing out just to make sure
Okay.
where we're at.
Is what
Okay.
I'm seeing.
All right. I'm about 5 degrees pitched down, so I may put a couple of the leveling blocks up under the jack. So all right.
Sure.
Okay, so what I was just talking about is I have a beach lane level in here so I can see the pitch And the roll's okay. It's about 2 degrees. We can adjust for that with the levelers. But the pitch down of 5 degrees, that's going to be quite a bit. I may even have to put some blocks into the front tires, but we'll see when we get out there. All right, well, we've made it here. Look at the view that we've got, the Ohio River. This is absolutely gorgeous. We're going to enjoy this. This is called Riverfront Campground. I use the app here to auto level, and so in doing that, it's going to go ahead and just level her out. Once we actually did have to back it up a little bit, so we were a little too far forward. Once I did, it actually was a little more level. So we'll see if I think it's about 4 degrees pitch down now. So we're always learning a little bit as to how much it can compensate before we have to put some leveling blocks under. First thing I always do is hook up the electrical. So let's get going on that. And then once I get the electrical, Nancy can do all her things on the inside. Always keep my pad. So I have a surge protector that I always use and put on. I don't drop it. There we go. Okay. Okay. And there's the, okay. And the 50 amp is on. Somebody left it on when they unplugged last time. So let's turn it off. Okay, and we'll plug her in. Okay, and then we're going to turn it back on. And we do have power. And it's analyzing it. So one thing I like to do here is with this has a Bluetooth connection and it can tell me that everything is good. So I like to make sure this is off before I plug mine in. So now I'm going to open up my Power Watchdog app. Okay. And it's normally set on Wi-Fi, but I'm going to switch it to Bluetooth because I don't have the Wi-Fi up and running here yet. So now I pick it, and I'm actually recording it here so you can see the screen here. And we've got 120 volts on one leg, 124 on the other, 60, and everything is green. I got no issues with the power. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn the power off at the Watchdog, and so I can plug mine in. So I'm going to go do that now. Okay. So I'll take off my, actually I'm going to leave my protective cover on, get this down through here. All right. Oh, careful, hun. Okay, there we go. Get just a little more cable out. So we're fortunate the cable does reach here to this pillar. We've been to a couple that don't, so I always carry a 50 amp extension cord with me. All right, we're going to open up the Watchdog here, get it plugged in. Remember, I've got power off here. Okay. All right, and then the other thing I'm going to do while I'm here, first I'm going to go ahead and get power on. Okay, now we're going to turn power back on, and I heard it click. All right, and then in a minute I'll hear the surge protector and Gracie click, and then everything, then we'll have power. There it went, I heard it. So what we're going to do now is go inside, and we're going to quickly turn the air conditioners on because it's 90 degrees. Let me lock all this up.
Ah, yes, that tire is off the ground.
So I thought 4 to 5 degrees would end up bringing the tire off the ground, and it did. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get some leveling blocks under there, and that way my tire is at least supported a little bit. So let me get those out and we'll get going on that. So I'm going to put a couple of these under the jack pads so it's easier for them to lift up. Then I'm going to put some under the tires.
I like those little Lego levelers. They seem to work really well.
Yeah. And I've got enough here to do about 9 to 10 degrees actually of unlevel. So those are going to go under the jacks, and then I'm going to go ahead and get these ready here. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these under the jacks. There. Okay, there we go. Now I'll lower that back down. There we go. So the tire is on those now. Check the level, and we are dead on level. Okay, so here's my wet bay, and let me grab my hose, which is on this side. I haven't figured out a way to keep my long hose in the wet bay yet. I got to get my long hose. Hopefully this is long enough. If not, I've got a second one in there too. I'm going to go and put my pressure regulator up on here and check the pressure. Okay. All right, here's this. Now, one thing that I always do is, let's shut this off first. I always flush the line a little bit first, just to make sure there's no rust or anything like that. Okay, so let's shut that off, open this one up. Okay, and we're gonna lock it off here and check the pressure now. And we're about 50 PSI, which is fine. So that should be okay. All right, so let's get the hose on.
Oh, you are so lucky.
Okay, so we'll open up the bottom here, get that up in here, and we'll put the quick disconnect on it here. There we go. So I've put quick disconnects on everything, so that way it's very easy to attach everything. Yep. And that's our water. I just need to turn it on back at the hose. All right, time to get the slides out. Now this has a little bit of an idiosyncrasy, if you want to say that. You cannot put the slides out unless the key's in the ignition. And so you put it in an accessory mode, it starts beeping because it says, hey, the jacks are down. So, and Nancy, go. So let me go and show you what's happening.
So I want to just make sure that nothing has slid in the way of the slides. I think we're good everywhere.
And now let's get the Super Slide. That's what the SS stands for in 34SS in the model number. Okay, and we are all set on the outside.
We got a few miscellaneous things to put away. I need to put the beach towels away up above there.
Yeah, because you washed them from our last trip.
Yeah, I want to get my CPAP supplies out. I got a sweater laying there. So a few little cleanup things to do here. But let's we really need to get the kitchen and the bathroom set up. So the next is to get our ice maker. And then as I come through here too, in the hallway, I keep the soap in the sink just so it doesn't fall off. We'll just get it set up and going. But now let's set the ice maker up. And we're gonna get it plugged in so it can get started. Now, everything really for the inside of the RV, I keep in 2 baskets. So the first basket is really kitchen stuff. Got the coffee maker, the coffee bean grinder, the 2 appliances that I think are so important. We're gonna set those up here. And we have our Brita filter, so I'll get that started in just a second as well.
And one thing while she's doing that I do is I get our internet going. And so I turn on our router and I turn on our Starlink. So I don't think by the time you see this, we've released my full Starlink integration. It's up on the roof. Okay.
And then, Mike, would you just put the basket up above the cab, please? The first Brita fill I will use to start the ice maker as soon as the water's filtered. Have you guys ever seen these little appliance cord holders? It's an Amazon purchase, but they're super handy. I have put them on the backs of a lot of my appliances, even at home. They come in different colors too to match your appliances. Okay, get my coffee station all set up so it's ready to go in the morning. And then this basket has really my bathroom items, plus my flowers. Okay, I've got a nice little corner shelf. I found this at Hobby Lobby and it fits perfectly. Look at how good this fits right here in the corner. This is where you actually, you flush the toilet, but this little shelf fits right here. And then we can still reach to flush the toilet. So super perfect for that spot. Here we go.
So bathroom is set up.
Bathroom's done. I can even turn the lights out now because we're finished in there. And just a few things to put here on the countertop in the hall. Got our little IKEA shelf. I sit back here. Tissues. Some face soap. This is our hand soap. Then a little glass here. And holy, the bathroom's set up. It is that easy. All right, so the Brita filter is just about finished with that first cycle. I will start the ice maker once we get that filtered, but otherwise we're set up inside.
That's how quick it is to set Gracie up on the inside.
Yeah, we're good to go.
It did take a little longer on the outside. It always does when, and I'm still learning the numbers on the pitch.
Yeah.
If I'd have looked at it and said, yep, I'm gonna need levelers, I'd have just got them out, done it one time, and that'd have been faster. But really everything else went pretty quick. The water, the electric.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And when we're recording on camera, it takes a little longer too. But
Yeah.
no, you did really good.
So did you.
Thanks.
High five. Well, that's how easy it is to set everything up. The only thing we haven't shown you is our actual campsite on the outside. That's because we're judging barbecue, so I probably won't set up my Blackstone this time. So usually I set up my Blackstone, we put a rug. This particular campsite does not allow you to put a rug on the grass, which I understand, they don't want to kill the grass. And so we won't lay our rug out, but we will get a couple chairs out. And we'll probably tomorrow night, or if it ever cools off tonight, we might go out and have a fire or something, but we'll see how that goes. If not, we may do it on Saturday night. But that's our setup. I mean, that's a travel day. And in the next video, we'll probably show you what we do at the Riverfest, judging some barbecue, and we'll show you some more of our campsite out there, so be sure to tune into that.
All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. We appreciate you as always. Have a beautiful day. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.